What happens when a young woman defies the expectations of her family and society to serve in one of the most controversial wars in American history? The Women by Kristin follows Fran McGrath, a courageous army nurse who witnesses the brutal realities of the Vietnam War, only to return home to a country that doesn't recognize her sacrifice. This powerful tale of love, loss, and resilience explores the unacknowledged stories of women in war, offering a voice to those who were all too often overlooked. The Women begins with Fran McGrath, a young woman from a traditional American family, grappling with the choice to enlist as an army nurse in the Vietnam War. Raised in a sheltered environment with a family who expected her to follow a safe and conventional path, Fran feels the need to do something different, something that matters deeply to her. Despite her family's surprise and concerns, Fran chooses to go to Vietnam, hoping to make a difference and serve in a meaningful way. Upon arrival in Vietnam, Fran is met with a world vastly different from anything she's known. The heat, noise, and constant sense of danger are overwhelming. She's quickly thrust into her duties as a nurse, where the brutal reality of war becomes impossible to ignore. Fran witnesses horrific injuries, endless bloodshed, and the emotional toll of losing young soldiers under her care. The exhaustion and fear are constant companions, but through her work, Fran finds a purpose. Fran forms a close bond with other nurses who are also struggling to survive the intense conditions. Each woman has her own reasons for being there, and together, they create a sisterhood that helps them endure the darkest days. They share moments of laughter, support, and friendship that bring a touch of light into their harrowing surroundings. In particular, Fran becomes close friends with a fellow nurse who offers emotional support and becomes her confidant throughout her time in Vietnam. Amidst the chaos, Fran meets a soldier who changes her life. They form a deep connection, one born from the shared fear, isolation, and raw emotions of living in a war zone. Their relationship is both intense and bittersweet. Fran knows that nothing in Vietnam is guaranteed, and every moment feels like it could be their last. This relationship brings both joy and heartache, as Fran struggles with the uncertainty and the pain of loving someone who may not survive the war. Through this relationship, Fran learns more about herself and the complexities of love and loyalty under extreme circumstances. She realizes that she's capable of deep emotional connection, but is also painfully aware of the temporary nature of everything in her life at that time. Fran's relationship with the soldier becomes a powerful symbol of the fragility of life and the human need for connection, even in the face of overwhelming odds. After enduring the trauma of war, Fran finally returns to the United States, expecting a warm welcome and recognition for her service. However, she quickly learns that the country she left has changed, and the people around her have different views about the war. Unlike the celebrations that greeted veterans of earlier wars, Fran and her fellow nurses are met with indifference, even hostility. Instead of the hero's welcome she hoped for, Fran faces scorn and misunderstanding from people who view the Vietnam War as a mistake and extend that judgment to those who served in it. Her family, too, struggles to understand her experiences. They can't grasp the emotional and psychological scars she carries or the person she has become. Fran feels isolated and misunderstood, unable to fully share what she went through. This lack of support weighs heavily on her, deepening her feelings of loneliness and alienation. She finds it difficult to adjust to everyday life and often feels haunted by memories of Vietnam. In the years following her return, Fran battles with PTSD, struggling to move forward while haunted by flashbacks of the war. She finds it hard to connect with people, as her experiences in Vietnam have changed her in ways that those around her cannot understand. The trauma of war affects her deeply, and Fran goes through periods of despair, feeling as if she's carrying an invisible burden. Yet, Fran is determined to heal. She begins to search for ways to cope, to rebuild her life, and to find her voice in a world that largely ignores the contributions of women who served in Vietnam. Fran connects with veterans groups and discovers other women like herself, women who served in the shadows, whose stories are rarely told. Together, they begin to share their experiences, offering each other support and understanding. Fran realizes that by telling her story, she can help others who might feel similarly lost and alone. Through her journey of self-discovery and healing, Fran begins to find new meaning and purpose. She becomes an advocate for female veterans, speaking publicly about the role of women in war and the unique challenges they face. Fran's voice becomes a powerful reminder of the strength and resilience of women who, like her, have had to fight battles both abroad and at home. Her story resonates with many, helping to change perceptions about female veterans and shedding light on the untold experiences of women in Vietnam. In the end, Fran finds peace not only in sharing her story, but also in knowing that her sacrifices and those of her fellow nurses are finally acknowledged. Her journey comes full circle as she accepts her past and embraces her future, having found healing through connection, advocacy, and the strength to carry on. The Women explores several important themes, including the overlooked contributions of women in war, the emotional toll of trauma, and the search for identity and healing after experiencing life-changing events. The novel delves into the courage of women who served in Vietnam, highlighting their resilience and the often unspoken sacrifices they made. Fran's story is a tribute to all the women who served and were forgotten, reminding readers that bravery isn't limited to the battlefield. Her journey underscores the power of friendship, love, and self-acceptance, showing that healing is possible even after immense pain. What do you think about Fran's journey of courage and healing? Have you ever felt misunderstood after a challenging experience? Let's share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe the channel to get more interesting story next. Thank you.